Let's talk about it. Okay. I don't know if y'all have heard about this DJ Quik tweet that he put out. He's like, yo, I promise I'm not going through a meltdown. Respectfully, homie, it seems like you kind of are. But anyway, like I said, I don't get personal with rappers. I don't know them personally. So it's not no disrespect. I just critique the music because the music is what's important to me. Okay? So let's talk about this tonight. um, so for those of y'all who might not be familiar, Quick tweeted out that he says he should be on Dre's level, but he's not. He didn't really go into specifics as to why he feels that he should be on Dre's level, like, and what he means exactly by being on Dre's level. Are we talking financially? Are we talking in terms of like hip hop respect, quote unquote? Being able to broker business, hip hop business deals? I don't know. It wasn't clear, but of course, no one's gonna ask. It won't come up in conversation. It'll be brushed over. If Quick does an interview, obviously they'll pick it up. The people in the media who do the interview will like mention it so that they can get clicks, but they're not gonna go into it because they don't have the knowledge. They don't care. It's just hip hop. Like I said, journalism 101. So anyway, I thought this was actually a good opportunity for me to address Quick, like not personally, but address DJ Quick in terms of whether I fuck with his music or not, because some of y'all have asked me about DJ Quick's music. Now, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't like any of Quick's music. I never have. I've tried many times to get into DJ Quick, just couldn't do it. In fact, I've forgotten the songs. Like just before I made this video, I went back to try to listen to some of his earlier albums, like just the first couple of songs on the first three albums, Safe and Sound, and I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, it never did anything for me. His stuff to me is like malt liquor R&B music. I said this like back then. You know what I mean? And you know what's funny? I had not a friend necessarily, a dude I knew who is an American cat, you know what I'm saying, from the South, but he was always like, yo, Quick is the guy. I remember like he would have these like weird arguments where he's like, oh, Quick is just as important as like, let's say DJ Premier in hip hop. And I'm like, huh? You know what I'm saying? What does Quick come out with? And it's like, oh, well, you don't know because you biased and you not, he's not East Coast, so therefore it's like, okay, like, what has Quick made that hip hop heads around the world gravitate to and go, oh my God, that's a great song? Tonight, it might be the closest, but even then, you're not going to hear it like that. Like, I would argue that Tonight, you might hear it once or twice somewhere, but it's not really that song. You know what I mean? So the answer is none. But of course, I would get the, oh, you're not, you're a hater, you don't know shit, blah, blah, you biased. Well, even DJ Quik himself doesn't think he's on that level. So, you know what I mean? So here you are standing the dude, and even he don't think he's on the level of like a Dre or Primo. I always think this shit is funny. Again, in rap, a lot of stuff to me is really obvious. When you really sit and think about it, you're like, oh, okay. Like, someone like a DJ Quik is not going to be as famous as Dr. Dre because Dr. Dre has hits. Like, actual hits, right? Some of them are hip-hop hits, too. You know what I'm saying? Like, Dre has done quite a bit. I'm not a Dre guy like that. I don't listen to Dre. I'm going to be honest with you. I almost never play Dre's music. It's just not my cup of tea. A lot of it to me is kind of poppy in a weird way. Like the West Coast shit, that's a whole nother conversation. But in general, I feel like the West Coast watered down hip hop in a pretty major way. Again, someone could say, yo, that's you, Tochi, you hating the bias. Again, there's people who are ill on all coasts, right? There's dudes in the West that are dope as hell. Snoop is incredible. Ice Cube is dope. You know what I mean? Obviously, we can go Raz, Kaz. There are people that are dope. We know this already in every coast. There's whack niggas in every coast. But in general, I think when hip hop started to shift into this real like gangster shit, the gangster rap, I think that was definitely watering it down for the casuals because the casuals bought into that. I'm not saying that it was done deliberately to target white America. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that it became this thing where it just became much more visual and kind of like this representation of criminality as opposed to actual music. And the West has been riding on that for quite a minute. You know what I'm saying? They're still riding on it, honestly. You know what I mean? Let's be real here. And all that stuff's watered down the craft. Let's be real. So, yeah, long story short, I don't think, Quik is on Dre's level at all. And like I said, I'm not no Dre dick rider. You know what I'm saying? So, what has Quik made? Has he made a beat like this? And again, I know that Dr. Dre had help, right? He's co-produced with people. I get that. But what has Quik made? Again, let's go back to the catalog. I'm not even talking about the image. What has Quik made that should put him in the conversation with someone like a Dr. Dre? Does he have it in the club? Did Quik make in the club a record that dope? Nah. Again, on paper, I don't know what happened behind the scenes. For all I know, DJ Quik was making beats, supplying them to Dr. Dre, and Dr. Dre was putting his name on it. Like, there's a lot of fugazi shit that happens in rap. So I don't know. But I am saying, though, that I would need a little more receipts. You know what I'm saying? Like, a little more explanation from Quik to tell me exactly what it is that he feels he should be like Dre. Or is he just bitter? And unfortunately, there's a fair amount of guys in rap who, understandably, in some ways, are bitter about how things ended up. You know what I mean? Because they were all peers. Like, I was watching an interview with Big Les, the dancer. Shout out to Big Les if she ever sees this. I doubt she ever will. But the point is, she was talking how she was a club kid. Like back in the day, growing up, she used to dance for Whitney and Bobby Brown, a bunch of people, right? She's from Queens. And she was saying back in the 80s and stuff like that coming up, it was all like a big, like if you wanted to enter the business, the music business, whether the dancing community, like everyone was kind of on the same level. You know what I mean? Sure, there were stars, but they would all hang out. LL Cool J would be in the room with like, I don't know, like a Run DMC, and like they were all at the clubs together. There was no like, velvet rope thing, right? And so the point is that back then, all these people, they were just artists, right? Like when I was listening to rap, Nas and Jay and Mobb Deep and DMX, they were all stars to me, but they were all in the same, like there was no one that was like, oh, you can't talk to this person because this person is way superior to you in terms of like star power. Like theoretically, if you were a dope rapper and you came out of nowhere, if you were a Mos Def and you came out and you made a diss record towards Nas and it was dope, I as a hip hop head would go, oh, that's a dope diss record, right? So like now that rap obviously has become a lot more stratified, so now there are levels. Now it's like you're in the underground and Nas is way the hell up here, right? I can understand how for certain people who were in the game at that time, they might go like, damn, like I was this guy's my peer. Like I was literally rapping alongside with him and he's just as nice as me, but he's like way richer. He's way more accepted in white media and I'm nowhere, right? Like I can understand, a little bit of the bitterness, but at the same time, if you look at it, some of these guys, like they put in that work. And they made actual shit, and that's why they're up there, and why, respectfully, the person that is complaining might not be there. So it kind of goes both ways. Long story short, I just don't know what Quik has put out. I mean, I've tried to listen to Quik millions of times, man. Just obviously at the request of one particular guy I'm talking about. But I've tried, like those first 3 albums. I think I even tried to listen to something called Balance. I can't remember. He had an album called Balance. Like I've tried, man. And like Quik to me, don't like his voice, don't like his beats. Just was never into him, honestly, So there you go. And like again, hip hop is worldwide. If you're really dope, you're gonna make shit that's gonna hit everybody. Everyone that's ahead. I'm not talking about the casuals. I'm talking about like there's heads everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So if you make that music that really hits, you're gonna hear it everywhere. Shout out to my guy Antoine, right? He's in Japan right now. You know what I'm saying? You go to Japan, you're gonna hear certain classic hip hop records. Doesn't matter where you are, or whether you're from the South or whatever. If them shits was hot, hip hop heads in Japan is gonna play that shit. If you're in Nigeria, hip hop heads in Nigeria are gonna play your shit, right? But if your shit doesn't really make it outside of Los Angeles, was it really that dope? Peace.